In UK, I was trained at a very famous ballet school called Elmhurst, and they were really classical. And I stayed on there, and I was trained as a teacher, so I taught there until I came here. And so, according to my mother, I said when I was about 10 years old, I'm going to teach. I'm not going on the stage, I want to teach. And I've taught ever since. 1954. It was a boyfriend who was working for the Hong Kong Shanghai Bank, and he met Carol Bateman, who was looking for somebody to join her school. She was a Russian dancer. She came down from Shanghai, and she taught Greek dancing and Cecchetti and Russian ballet. And she started the school that I have in the Helena May in 1948. She heard about the Royal Academy of Dance, and she thought that this is what Hong Kong needed. And so she offered me a 2-year contract. Yes. So I came out in October 54. The Scottish Society and what is known as the Highlanders now, they held classes on a Monday evening, and when I first came here, they had them at Union Church in Kennedy Road.
Who were the teachers?
They were just I'm not sure, I cannot remember who they were. There were a lady and a gentleman who gave the instructions for you to do, and I would say there were about 40 or more people that came to St Andrews in Kennedy Road there. And I think we'd only been going 2 weeks when suddenly my husband and I were told, you look after that set and you look after that set. So we were helping out. Today, I still go on a Monday evening to the cricket club. No. Very, very mixed from all different countries. We went there, it was a social...
And who else besides Scottish? Any Chinese there?
Yes, there were.
Oh,
yes.
Good.
There were not that many Chinese then, but there were certainly quite a few. But mostly European.
Okay.
But they came from Germany and Belgium, Europe. It was a social evening. Yeah. People who liked to dance went up there. Yeah. Some people went because it was exercise. Some people went because a friend was going. All different reasons for going. Okay. Of course, there were quite a number of Scottish people there. Oh. Scottish dancing, you have a partner, and you normally got 4 sets. And you start the Scottish dance, 2 people at the head of the group, which is nearest to the music. They do whatever the sequence is, and they end at the bottom, and then the second group repeat. Usually you walk it through before the music, and everybody knows the steps. No, you just need somebody to call it out and to follow that way. A little bit like square dancing. Yes. You know, in America you have a caller and he'll say do-si-do or whatever. It's a little bit like that. But anybody who's got a little bit of rhythm can do it. If you haven't got any rhythm, then it's a little bit difficult. I would say we must have been 40, 50 people. It always seemed to be very crowded.
Every week?
Yeah.
Wow.
In my early days, we definitely were doing Western folk dance at Hong Kong U. And a lot of the students were interested in folk dancing. I cannot remember which year it was that the ISDD were interested in coming to Hong Kong, and Pearl Chan brought the examiner out, and I provided her with the students for examinations. And those people that actually took their exam there And they are still teaching voluntary. I mean, it's not their professional job. Western national dance. But the group that originally were at the Hong Kong U and then came to my studio to learn and did the examinations, they are still there encouraging people to do Western folk.
Why would they be interested in Western folk dance in the first place? How do they get to
I think it was a social evening. It was a social something to do. In those days, there was very little to do. Right? We didn't have many cinemas, and certainly we didn't have live performances. And I think one or two people were enthusiastic and got a group together and said, well, let's do some folk dancing.
Okay.
And so we did. And as I say, when the ISTD started, then it grew and grew. And in '64, we started the Schools Dance Festival.
Pearl Chan brought the ISTD examiners to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Why did she do that?
Well, she was brought up under the ISTD regulations and their dance. And so when the opportunity came that, we could have exams, she thought, well, let's try. And so we did, and we're still having exams today.
Yes. I am interested to know who could afford to go to the exams, and why would they do that?
I think A, it was because they were enthusiastic about dance. B, they wanted to learn more. And C, when we got the exams, they could take an associate exam, which is a junior teacher's exam. And a lot of them were PE teachers, and therefore at school that gave them extra credit. And gradually they have increased in their knowledge, and they now choreograph their own dances for the festivals and things.
Do you think this, the ISTD and its popularity has really helped the Western folk dance to grow in the schools in Hong Kong? Do you think there's a relationship?
To begin with, yes. Now, no. Because I think it's grown. It goes by word of mouth, and so I teach you, you teach you, and you go on. And so it has grown so much. And everybody now who does PE and that, they all do folk dancing. They all do and it's offered in schools all the time. And I mean, it was started in '64, as I said, to encourage people. And we only had 2 days then. We've had 5 weeks this year.
Wow.
Yes, and I mean, sometimes we're seeing 30, 35 schools in a day. So, I mean, it was really grown. The person in charge of the PE section of the schools was Joan Campbell.
So the festival was advocated by the education department,
Yes.
the PE session.
Yeah.
Why were they interested in coming up with a school dance festival?
I think maybe Angus was a person who liked athletics, and he enjoyed Scottish dancing, of course, because he was a Scotsman. Talks that we had, we said it would be nice to get people together, and his department then set about seeing how they could offer it to schools. And so it was, as I say, started in a very limited 2-day project. I think his thing, more people should learn, more people should have the opportunity. Music is happiness. and there was a very, well-known boys' school here. And wow, could they dance. They always did just a dance for boys. And I think it was a Polish dance they did with chairs. And they sat on the chair and they whirled around, they jumped on the chairs. But they always brought the house down. They were really amazing. They had an amazing teacher. And he could always give them something very spectacular to do. And I think people came to watch. And they thought, oh, this is quite interesting, quite good. And so the next year there were more. And then there were more. The whole idea of the ballet group was that all the schools should get together and give the students an opportunity to dance on the stage together. And that's why we started. Because when I came, it was very difficult for me to talk with other teachers because I come out for this school and it wasn't quite the right thing to do, to be with other teachers. But once we started the exams in 56, there were two other teachers and myself. One was Paddy Cook, Trisha Denham, and the other one was Angela. She was working for Swires at the time. Anyway, there were three of us, and between us we put in 120 students. And I think this year there was something like 40,000. But that's great because it means they went out, they enjoyed their ballet, they want to go on, and they became teachers and spread their wings, and their students have done so. But it all started at the Helena May.
So how did you create opportunities for these girls to perform? You just said there were very little chances for them to perform. So how did you do that?
Well, to begin with, Carol Bateman looked after that. And the Helena May in those days had a stage.
Oh, it did.
And so we could give little performances on the stage. And then people like Rotary Club had balls, and they would invite us to go and take students to dance as their entertainment. And we would visit a hospital, or if there was a fair going on, we might do a dance at fair. So yes, there wasn't that much to do, but we tried to generate. And we've always given one school show every year. So and that started on the Helena May stage.